All right, guys. Good morning. How we doing? How's everyone doing this morning? Alvaro or Alberto, Swish, Chef, Jabberwocky, some familiar faces. How we doing? Good morning, guys. So, the market has been tough, man. That's really what I have. That's what I'm here to tell you today. I've been on a little bit of a cold streak. I got to be honest with you. I've had trouble with this sideways market. I've been keeping the positions as small as possible. Some of these trades that I've taken, they're very small. One of them is larger. The Tesla trade that I took was a little larger. Not looking good there. So it's been a tough market. So, I mean, that's I'm not afraid to admit that, guys. And if you guys are having trouble in this market, yeah, you're definitely not alone. I'm having some trouble in this market. It's been difficult. It's been very sideways. And right now, as I talked about in my Sunday video, it's real for me right now. It's really about just waiting this out. Looking at some potential opportunities, taking them small, seeing if I can catch some plays, but. I'm really scaling down, making sure I'm not losing, anything crazy, making sure my account is fine. I don't have too much risk on the account, and just waiting out this chop because it's been tough. There's definitely been some opportunities. That's definitely not what I'm saying. I'm not saying there's no opportunities, but it's been a very volatile market, and I just wanted to start out with that because I want to get that off my chest. I don't like to hide. I don't like to pretend like I'm making tons of money. Right now I'm not. I'm been very sideways, a little bit here. Win one trade here, give it back there. It's been back and forth for mostly the beginning of this December. So it's been tough. And if you come here to my live stream, I'm not gonna I'll never lie to you about that. So it's been tough for me. We're gonna continue to. The best thing you could do as a trader, in my opinion, is you continue to grind through it. You continue to hold on. You continue to protect your money. You continue to just persevere through this tough time. I've done that. I've been in this situation many times where I get on a little bit of a cold streak. And the only thing that helps me get out of it is to continue to persevere because I know, at the end of this that I can come out better because I've seen it happen in the past. I've been there through experience. So. I'm just continuing to remind myself, persevere. There's going to be better opportunities in the future, and we'll see what happens. So wanted to start out with that and let you guys know. So that's that. GME puts, yeah, maybe. The only thing with GameStop and AMC puts is be careful of IV, implied volatility. Sometimes that IV can really crush those put option contracts. Yeah, I've been sitting on my hands the most I can. For sure. I mean, in my opinion, I've been sitting on my hands because I usually take more trades than I have been. So I've been taking a few things here and there, but it's been very tough. So let's go ahead and get started. It's 8:03. Welcome to the live stream, guys. Hope everyone's having a great week so far. It's only Tuesday, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, Facebook held pretty good yesterday. It definitely did. I just think, Facebook has been sort of pushed down so much that it needed a little bit of a recovery day. It's probably just some people getting back in. I wouldn't. It's not something I would trust too much, Danny. Not something I would trust too much. You got to be careful there. Probably, take a lot of stuff with a grain of salt. Danny was posting a lot of charts in the Discord chat this morning, and I like them, Danny. Just answering your right here, answering it live for you. I like a lot of the charts that you sent, but the only problem I have right now with this market is it's so hard to trust some of these setups. I found some great setups this week, like Microsoft. I thought was a great setup, but the technicals just are very tough right now because the market's so sideways and the volatility is so strong. That almost all of the setups that I've been looking at, whether I took it or not, really got invalidated. So it's just showing you that, right now, as good as the setup may look, you still need to have that in the back of your head. You still need to say, hold on, okay, so technicals look good, setup looks good, but hold on a second. Let me think about what the overall market's doing. market's really not favoring this right now. So do I really want to get into this? Do I really want to risk it here? That's something that I think, Danny, you should consider, at least think about, and I think we all should think about before entering any setups that we like, because the overall market is just not there for you right now. Back in June, July, April, when we had those big runs, those upside moves on the overall market, when you saw a pullback setup, it was a killer setup because you had market supporting it, you had market pushing higher, and any setup that you saw worked out most likely because that market was there to support it. But today, over the last few weeks, market is definitely not supporting you, and it makes it very difficult to trust some of these setups. So if you like something, take it small, see if it works out. If you lose from it, you just got to learn from it. That's really it. You got to take it as a learning lesson. All right, so let's get started. So today is 12/14. We're going to grind through this tough time in the market for sure. That's I hope everyone protects their capital. I think that's the name of the game right now. So earnings, economic calendar. Really, all we really should focus on is tomorrow. Economic calendar, guys. Tomorrow we have I have Tesla, Stevie, down here at Tesla 950. Tomorrow is Jerome Powell press conference, FOMC, 2 to 2:30. Those are really the big event that everyone's waiting on, right? That is tomorrow. So today, I'll talk a little bit about what I think we can expect today, and then tomorrow's just a total crapshoot. Really, tomorrow's you just got to wait and see. You just got to wait and see what happens here when Jerome talks. See how we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. You saw the title of this. You saw the title of this live stream, Safety Names. If you guys watched Walmart, J&J, Coca-Cola, a few others, Pepsi was pretty strong. A lot of these safety plays were very hot yesterday. And if that's sort of telling you something, then you should I think you should listen to it, because I'm definitely listening to that. This growth rotation, the rotation out of growth, has been very strong. Has been very, very strong. Yeah, Mr. TNT, I mean, sometimes people, there's different ways to play this. You can wait it out, or you can, some people, there's nothing wrong with waiting it out, guys. You don't need to trade every day. There's nothing wrong with waiting it out. So, you can play it multiple ways, Mr. TNT. There's multiple ways to do this. There's not one correct way to trade this market. If you want to play it, a certain way, great. If you want to wait it out, great. I don't think there's anything wrong with either way you play it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So these safety names have been strong, and that is something we should pay attention to, because it seems like a lot of people are taking risk out of high growth names. High growth names are under a lot of pressure. This is most likely due to anticipation of interest rates increasing, which is affecting high growth names. And so this value rotation, these safety plays, it's definitely there, guys. So pay attention to it. Walmart, J&J, Coca-Cola, all up like 1.5%, 2.5%, and that's big. Those are big days for those names. Walmart to move up 2%, 2.5%. That's big. So we're gonna definitely focus on those. We're gonna definitely look at those today. The safety names. Costco, 560, very near. Tried to break through that 560. I would say this is on the borderline of a safety name as well. Costco has been up a lot. So it's a little bit pushed higher, but Costco definitely something that has been very strong. So I want to show you guys Costco as well. Apple's almost the safety name of tech right now, it seems. It's crazy to see. Apple's up in the pre-market today, up to 177, recovering some of that dip from yesterday. I think it's the only big cap tech stock that is green this morning. So Apple has just been ridiculously resilient, and you got to just continue to follow that, I think. So Apple, definitely very interesting. In the pre-market, we'll look at it. Banks tomorrow. Banks into tomorrow. Do you take a bank play? Do you take a bank? Do you take a bank? Yeah, you're right. I forgot about. Thank you for reminding me there, David. You have the producer price index this morning at 8:30. So we'll take a look at that as well. PPI this morning at 8:30, guys, on the economic calendar. Banks, how do they perform after Jerome Powell's press conference tomorrow? Do we get a push higher on banks because of maybe interest rates being hiked at a faster rate than expected? Maybe. We'll see. But banks definitely should be on watch tomorrow to see how they react to this news. Next, we get into some, those top 4 that I have talking about you guys today is sort of what's in play right now. The bottom 5 here, bottom 4, or at least these next 2, are a little bit more of like ideas for the future. It's not so much hot right now, but something to keep an eye out for. So Nvidia, I think a lot of us have been waiting for a dip on Nvidia. Now, what I like to say, no matter how crappy this market seems right now, no matter how much money is flowing out of these high growth names, Nvidia has been one. These chip stocks have definitely been getting sort of cooled off a little bit. No matter how much you see a dip on Nvidia, I still believe that there is good opportunity to purchase shares for your long term in Nvidia as we move lower. So me personally, I'm definitely going to be buying more Nvidia stock as we move lower. We're below 300. As we move lower to this key level, which I'll show you today, I don't think Nvidia is going anywhere, and I think this pullback is necessary. We saw that huge run in Nvidia back in October, I think it was, or early November. We saw that. It was fun. We had a lot of fun. We made a lot of money. But, pullbacks always come, guys. It always comes. So Nvidia, it's here. The dip is occurring, and I wouldn't just look past it. I mean, there's going to be opportunity on this name. So keep an eye on that as it moves lower. Tesla, 950. That is a must-hold today on Tesla. If it breaks 950, I think you're moving lower. So right now you're at 955 in the pre-market. It's trying to hold that 950 level. We will look at that chart today. CRM rejection. We talked about this chart. It's starting to reject. We'll look at it again. And then finally, I just want to throw Starbucks in here. I think this is an interesting area here at 117. It's been rejected at this level multiple times, and it's definitely showing rejection again. So I wanted to show it to you guys today. So that's what I have. Then we'll go over, if you guys are a member of the YouTube channel, we'll go over some of the charts that you want to look at. Just go to the community channel on my YouTube channel, and you can go to the link, the Google Docs, and you will see a place to put in your tickers. So that's what I got for you. Shout out to MSI, sponsor of the stream. I actually have a pretty cool giveaway coming for with MSI for Christmas. So stay tuned to that, guys. I'll probably announce it here in the live stream first, and then in a video on my Instagram. So follow my Instagram. Stay tuned here to the live stream. Gonna be giving away some really cool stuff. Shout out to MSI. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's get started with, do we want to look at the economic calendar? Yeah, I guess we can. Do we got anything interesting? There's nothing interesting today. Skillsoft. That tattoo, what is that? I don't even know what this is. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see change. Aspen, CleanSpark, Skillsoft. This is, we're sort of at the end of this earnings season, guys. Nothing too crazy today. The only thing left that's pretty interesting is Thursday and Wednesday. You got Lennar, which is home builders. You got Adobe and FedEx, Darden, Winnebago. Not really sure. I didn't even know that was a public company. But yeah, so some stuff here Wednesday, Thursday, nothing today that I would be too interested in. Of course, if you guys are interested in these names, I'm not really. But there they are. So that's that. Economic calendar real quick. Today, producer price index right here, 8:30. And then tomorrow's the big day, right? 8:30 tomorrow, retail sales. And then 2 and 2:30, FOMC announcement and Jerome Powell press conference. So that's the economic calendar. We'll see what happens at 8:30 today for PPI. That earnings calendar is from Earnings Whisper, if you guys are familiar with the website. All right, NASDAQ. Here it is, guys. And we can see, if we take off this 16K, I was watching sort of this 16.1 area, and we definitely broke below that. You can see we've held this a few times, right? So we had, this hold here in this green zone, this hold here, but we are now below that, right? So we We broke through it in the after hours today. As overnight, when the market was trading overnight, we broke down below that level. So, what to expect now? I'm thinking, first of all, 16,000 psychological. That's my first area of interest. 16,000 psychological level. That is my first area of interest today. Do we try to hold that 16K psychological level? We're attempting it right now in the pre-market. That is I think that is a very crucial number for us here, guys. 16,000 psychological. That is what I'm looking to see if it holds as today. Now, part of me wants to think that this is a type of morning where you get that morning push and then you get that intraday rejection. Now, where do I think, the morning push could come into? I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. I think, me personally, what I think you guys see today, and I could be very wrong, but this is what I'm expecting today. I think you see a morning push when the market opens. I think you see a morning push into this 16,001, and then I think you see this turn into resistance today. I think that's maybe what we'll see. We'll see a morning push, a little bit of a top here at previous support, something like this, and then you start to see that rejection come in. Now, I don't know how far that rejection moves lower. That's going to be the hard part to judge. But I would assume you make up some of this pre-market after hours downside that we saw this morning. It's pretty weak downside. Usually when you see a morning gap down, you get a little bit of a push. You get some kind of buying that comes in. So I would expect, at least that's what I'm looking to see if that occurs today. But I am definitely being very careful of this previous support from yesterday. This is yesterday's closing levels, and I would have to assume that if this market pushes up into those levels, something like this, right? If you get a push into these levels here at 16.1, I would definitely assume that this turns into some type of resistance, right? So that's what I'm looking for today. Maybe there is some opportunity for you guys quickly to the upside this morning, but I would I would have this marked off on your charts. I would have this in bright red. I'm actually going to turn it red for myself. And if you see this NASDAQ get into this zone and you are in a long position today, I would be extremely cautious because there is a very high chance that this rejects if we see this move into here. So be careful as we approach this level today if we do. 16,001, this was previous support, and you guys know previous support can turn into resistance. If we see it push up higher into this level, that's what I would be watching for. So 16.1 is my resistance level that I'm keeping an eye out for. That's yesterday's close. That is this little consolidation here. I'm going to watch that. If we drop lower out of the gates, if we just dip out of the gates, then I think you got to watch some of this consolidation. Let me pull this up. Let me get a little bit more time here. If you get just a straight out dip out of the gates, then I would think you have to be watching. Let me get this area for us to look at. I think you have to be watching these lows in this area around 15.9. You can see it comes in back here on this is back on early November, and then if I zoom in here, I think it also sort of respects some of this area, right in this area, right from this previous dip. So a little bit of this right over here around 15.9s. I think that would be your next level to keep an eye out for. So that's my level to the downside on the NASDAQ, 15.920, 15.9 right in that area. And then to the upside rejection, I would watch 16.1. So as you can see, this is a very, very difficult spot for the market right now. Which direction do you see this push up or push down this morning? For me, I'm watching 16.1 as a rejection point, and I'm watching 15.9 as a support, and then I'm going to see how this market opens up. That's really all that I can do right now, and I just need to be patient and see how this market trades. But if I see that rejection start to come in at 16.1, then I'll definitely look to see if there's downside pressure right in this area right here. That is yesterday's close. So that's what I'm looking at on the NASDAQ. If I do a longer term look here on the NQ, which I'll go out to the daily chart. Here's the daily chart, guys. If I zoom out to the daily chart, let me go ahead and get a little bit more zoomed in for us here. I'm going to delete some of these lines. If I zoom into this daily chart, part of me believes that we may need to see another test of this 50 SMA right here around 15.8. That is very potential to see another test of this 50 SMA, right? You can see this market has been just topping here. 1, 2, 3, just stuck at 16.4. Do we need another pullback to this 50 SMA? That is very potential. Or do we need another pullback to these September highs, which is back here around 15.7. So, you know, if we do get that big downside move on the market, I would watch the 50 SMA and 15.7. You can see 50 SMA is right around 15.8, and then you have this September high back at 15.7. Do we need to see a retest of this support? That is something I would look out for. All right, guys. So that's the NASDAQ. To overview the NASDAQ, it's under a lot of pressure. Just to recap the overall feeling of this market, it's under a lot of pressure. Any kind of pops have been getting sold into, and I don't know if you see a strong move before a event like tomorrow. You know, that would be really interesting to see. It would be surprising to see a very strong move before the meeting tomorrow. That would be pretty shocking. So definitely not expecting any type of rally today. If you get that, that would just be like a lot of people not expecting it, and it happens. Basically, the market's doing the unexpected, which, you know, we've seen before, but that is something, you know, I can't predict what happens on the market. I can't tell the future, but that is something I would definitely not expect today. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Of course, you know, market has surprised me in the past, and it definitely can surprise me in the future. So, yeah, Apple just doesn't care. It's crazy. The SPY. Where is the SPY holding up? The SPY, the S&P 500, it is holding right at these previous levels, 46.40. You guys can see this previous hold right here, back from, this is November 10th, right in this area where I draw that circle. That is where you're holding right now. That is where you're holding right now. And you're also holding some of these previous resistance areas right here on the S&P. So right there, you can see we're starting to try to hold. We did break below this 46.60. You can see in the after hours, we just chopped right below it. So if I go into the 15-minute chart, what you'll see is we're trying to hold this 46.40. But what I'll tell you guys, if you see that morning pop on the ES, be careful of trading it into this previous support. This previous support here at 46.60 definitely looks like it could turn into some pretty nasty resistance. So I'm going to keep this on my charts. I'm going to make sure I am aware of if the S&P is starting to trade into this area. You can see right here this previous support, all little double bottom support back here. Again right here actually. So if we trade up into this level today, if we see a trade into this level, be very careful for rejection there at 46.60. So watch that level, 46.60. Be careful of that potential resistance as we push into that level. If we see a morning push today or even an intraday push, be careful of that 46.60. Now to the downside, I would just watch this 46.40, which is basically low of day today. So you basically have your upside and downside levels, right? You have your upside level at 46.60 and you have your downside level at 46.40, and you just need to see how this market trades within that range. Which way does it choose? Does it break the boundaries of these ranges today? That is what I would be looking for. So that's the ES. Those are the levels that I'm watching. And then finally, on the Dow, you can see the Dow is trying to hold these previous, this 35.50 previous highs right here. You can see it's doing a little bit of a break and retest. You can see this is previous resistance, previous all-time highs. And we got a push, we got a retest, and we need to see if we hold that 35.5. So if we go into the short-term time frames, we can see how it held it pretty well right here so far. This is just yesterday and today, and you can see a little bit of a support hold at 35.5 so far. So do we hold this level today? Does this break down? That is what I'm going to be watching on the Dow. Do we get strength in some safety names? Do we get strength in banks? Do we see strength in the Dow names? Does money flow out of tech again? That is what I'm going to be watching on the Dow. I'm going to be seeing if the Dow can, if the Dow sort of overperforms, or if the Dow breaks under this 3550 and maybe even breaks under today's lows, pre-market lows. So that's what I'm watching on the Dow today. This is an important level. This is a very big level because if you go to the daily chart, it is right there. It's a very big level here on the Dow. So that's the Dow. And I know some of you guys like to look at the Russell. The Russell is just really weak here. Got rejection off the 100 SMA, moving lower. I would definitely just be watching these. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times we hit this level and found support. You're definitely going to want to see support, right? If the Russell does this, that's pretty nasty, right? That's nasty. Right after breaking a little bit of a false breakout, one of the nastiest false breakouts I've seen on an overall index. Look at that. And then just moving right back down to the bottom of this channel. So I would be careful of that. So that's the futures, guys. To wrap that up, to review, market's in a lot of trouble. Not trouble. Market's under a lot of pressure. I take that back. It's not in trouble. It's under a lot of pressure. We're under a lot of pressure, and we need to just play this thing day by day. And I think if you want to save your money, if you don't want to lose money today, if you want to guarantee not to lose money today, you don't touch anything and you wait to see what happens tomorrow. I think that is still the best piece of advice for a newer trader that doesn't have too much time in this market. If you're new to trading, if you've only been trading for a few months, today is a very difficult day, a day before a huge Fed meeting, something that is everyone's waiting on. It's probably better just to wait this one out. That is my honest opinion, and that's sort of what I've been doing. So we'll see what happens, but waiting it out is definitely not a bad idea. All right, some of these safety names. First of all, we talked about Walmart yesterday. Here's yesterday. Here's yesterday on Walmart. You guys can see over the last 3 days, Walmart has had some big green days. Really nice triple bottom here on Walmart. Does Walmart push through the 100 SMA? Does it try to push into this 151, 152? That would be pretty interesting if we start to see that. But Walmart was very strong yesterday. Here's the 5-minute chart over the last 3 days. So this is Walmart over the last 3 days. You can see it is on a very nice trend. From the lows of Thursday of last week to the highs of yesterday, about 6% on Walmart. 6% on Walmart over the last 3 days. That's a big move. So very nice, very consistent trend. Does Walmart do this again? Potentially. Very, very potentially. So that's what I would be watching. Keep an eye on Walmart here. You got through these previous resistance levels yesterday. Maybe you watch this 145 area as potential resistance. If I go to the 4-hour, we'll see a little bit better. Here's the 4-hour on Walmart. So you can see we had this little bit of a downtrend. It looks like we're trying to break that. You're starting to get a nice move, engulfing some of this price action. I would probably watch the 145s because I've seen it get stuck there in the past. And then I'd probably watch these 147s. If you start to get past that, then this is probably on its way back to these 150s. More than anything, see if the money flows into Walmart again today. Because Walmart, you can tell when the money's flowing in. Walmart does not trade like it did over the last 3 days very normally. So see if the money starts flowing in. Those are big days for Walmart. If you look at these last 2 daily candles right here, these 2 right here, those are bigger than a lot of these moves. There's a few sort of in here, a few little 2% days, but yesterday was a big day. A lot of money flowing in. So keep an eye on that. See if this thing wants to get to the top of this range around 152. Just keep an eye on that safety name. J&J, another one that had a very big move yesterday and over the last few days. So J&J actually sort of broke above this potential breakout area. You guys can see right around this 168 above the 100 SMA. Got a nice push. If we go to the shorter term time frames, we can see J&J as well over the last 3 days on a very nice uptrend. So money is flowing into this name as well. High dividend, a little bit of safety, money flowing into that name as well. So when we go to the 4-hour, you guys can see a little bit of a choppy move. I'm not saying it's on any type of ridiculous trend, but it definitely had some money flowing in. Just be careful of this 168. You can see it's a little bit of a top, so be aware of that. And just sort of keep an eye on the overall flow of money into these names. See if these are strong again today. J&J is the next one. And then finally, the one that everyone loves, the big dividend name, something that doesn't really move very often, but Coca-Cola. Look at this gap up on Coca-Cola. So boom, boom, big gap ups on Coca-Cola. And Coca-Cola hit new all-time highs yesterday, breaking above this 57.55. So another one, keep an eye on that. Coca-Cola, Pepsi as well has been very strong. So these two have been incredible. Very, very strong moves on Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Some of these safety plays to keep an eye out. Yeah, as Mr. CNT is saying, healthcare has been strong. We talked about that one yesterday. Healthcare, UNH, AbbVie are just monsters. So those are what I'd be watching too. Yeah, PPI's out, Producer Price Index. Market doesn't seem to like it right now. Let's see, this is the NASDAQ Live. So you got the numbers, PPI is 0.8, so it's a little bit higher. So that's probably expected. So market came back down to these lows. Let's see what happens. But yeah, PPI's out, a little bit higher than expected. Let's see if that holds at 15.6. 1 second, guys. KO'd a big recall, did it? So I mean, that's just basically it's just another inflation gauge. I mean, if producers are getting a little bit more than what expected for their product, then it's just another sign of that inflation, in my opinion. We'll see what happens, but yeah, here you go. NASDAQ losing it a little bit here. Yep, there you go. New lows on the NASDAQ this morning. So PPI a little bit hotter than expected, and yeah, you're getting your NASDAQ downside right now. Wow. Pretty nasty. Now, now you might even get a better, now it's that sort of kills my idea of, a morning pop, because, I was thinking a morning pop into this 16.1 and then a rejection. This is, it's a little bit more nasty. But I mean, maybe this gives you a little bit more of a chance of a morning pop. But yeah, that's a little nasty. Now I think you got to watch these levels as resistance, right? So this is always evolving. That's why I think it's important to come to the live streams. So this is evolving now. This is now a resistance level that I would be watching right here around 15.960. This is previous lows of this morning. You got a little bit support here, a little bit support here. So now if the market gets any pop, which it does not seem like it is, then you can see that would be your next resistance point right there. Right there around 15.960. ES below 46.40, right off that PPI data. Now, what I would be looking at is potential resistance right here at 46.40. If we push back into 46.40, does that turn into resistance? That is what I would be looking at today, guys. So now you have some new potential rejection areas to watch out for. Previous low of day on these futures, be aware of those levels. All right. Costco. Yeah, everything sort of took a hit there. Costco daily chart. I mean, Costco's been rock solid. It's been hot. Market, sort of concerns me a little bit. I have to be honest. So is Costco able to break these all-time highs? That is something I'd be careful of today. You can see we had a little bit of a double top here, a little bit of a triple top actually. We had a top back on the 29th of November. We had a top on Friday. And yesterday, we cannot get through it again. So, what a bit of a triple top up here at 560. This looks like a very difficult level for Costco. If you start to see this thing slip today, then it's probably going to give back some of this move. Maybe a little bit of a pullback back down to around 545. That's a level I've been watching. So maybe a pullback to there. But, if you start to see this slip up from the overall market, I would probably be careful, guys. I don't think it's going to have the strength to break through this 560 if this market is pretty weak today. So be careful up here at this triple top. Costco looks good, but market's just not there really there for, supporting you. So be careful. Apple. Is Apple giving it up? Yeah, Apple gave it up pre-market. So Apple was up this pre-market when I posted this, schedule. But, as you guys know, things change pretty quickly. So Apple had a pretty nice tumble afternoon yesterday. Popped up here in the pre-market. I think it got some more positivity around I think a bunch of price target increases. Yeah, you have Evercore. JP Morgan has been really strong on it. Or was that Morgan Stanley? Who was that? That was just, they put a 200, Bank of America put a 210 price target on it. So you got a lot of price target increases on don't worry, it's just transitory, on Apple. A lot of price target increases. So that's why you saw this pop, but, overall market's a little weak right now, so you're starting to see that slip. For me, guys, I'm not trading Apple right now. I did trade Apple. I got some of this move. I took a little bit of a chunk of it, but I did not take the meat of it. And at this point, I'm just going to continue to focus on buying shares on Apple at this point. That's really my focus. If I see maybe, this is tough because it's such a big move higher. I would assume maybe this 174 level is probably a good level to watch. You can see we've had multiple tests right there around 174. That could be a level to watch to the downside. Right here, you can see where it was resistance, support. So 174 would probably be one of my downside levels. And then this level right here, right around 160, this is 170 flat, would be my next downside level. So those are my two levels to the downside on Apple, 174, 170. And then you can see this rejection that's coming in here at 177. Look at this rejection today, guys. So if this market is weak, there could be a reason for some profit taking in Apple. You can see this was resistance, fell through, turned support into a double top resistance again. So, there is definitely potential for some weakness here, some profit taking. Keep an eye on that. 174, 170 to the downside. Those are the levels I'd be watching. All right, banks. So not much going on with banks right now. So nothing that's sort of showing itself at this point, guys. Banks do not look very good right here. JP Morgan's been starting to break through this uptrend. But basically the only reason I bring this up today, guys, is just watch banks tomorrow. See what they do. JP Morgan, Bank of America sort of sitting at a retest level. Goldman Sachs sitting at this support. Wells Fargo sort of moving lower yesterday. Citibank. Wow, Citibank's getting crushed, dude. Damn. I did not see this. Yeah, I would probably avoid Citibank here. It definitely, when you see stocks in the same sector when one's heavily underperforming, I'd stay away from it, guys. So Citibank is clearly underperforming here. Look at stocks look at Bank of America. Look at the chart difference on back. Look at the back chart. Look at the JPM chart. Look at the Wells Fargo chart. Nice uptrend, beautiful uptrend on Wells Fargo. And then look at Citi. So, yeah, stay away from Citi here, in my opinion. Just in the short term, definitely not the chart to be playing when you have stocks like Wells Fargo moving higher. So, banks, I would watch them. What's Morgan Stanley doing? See, even Morgan Stanley's holding up pretty well. So, let's see how they perform. From experience, JPM is the one that usually moves the most off of any type of bank-related news. Anything that helps a retail bank, your local bank, banks that are giving out loans to consumers. Usually, I see JPM move the best. That's just from experience. So JPM, I think you watch that one for the biggest move off of any kind of Fed news that may help out financials. I think JPM is the one to watch. So keep an eye on those tomorrow. Just see how they react. I think that is very interesting. Nvidia. So Nvidia, the dip is here, guys. That's a very nasty move under 300 yesterday. You can see it really gave up that move. Hold on, guys, 1 second. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, Nvidia really gave up that move. Really gave up that move. Your after hours updates. Yeah, you got it, Dan. I'm actually thinking about doing an after hours live stream. That'd be something you guys are interested in. So 300 crack, really big crack, and if I go to the 4 hour, yeah, we're below it now. Geez, I was looking at this level here, but 280 did not hold. 280 did not hold. So we are getting pretty moved. We're getting a pretty big move lower. If I zoom out, to 360 days, let me get some time here. Yeah, we can see we are getting. This could be a nice downside play, guys. I mean, I would watch this. There is not much between. There was probably not much between this 290 to probably this 230, guys. If I pull up the volume profile, you're probably not going to see much of anything between this area. So between sort of 290, 300 and 230, I don't really think you're going to see much in this area. So if I go to it, let me pull it up. Why is it not pulling up? There we go. Yeah, look at that. So there is some very small amount of support in this area, guys. Anything from around 290 to around 230 is like a black hole. So this could be a very interesting downside play. This could be a pretty big downside play if this thing really does give up this move. This is a big move downside. This is a big downside move, which is potential. It's 16%. And there is not much support in this area, guys. There's not going to be much holding it up. You're going to get held up for sure here at 230. That's for sure. There is a lot of support here. So I would assume, if you see this thing at 230, that's really where I want to buy shares. That's sort of why I have this level mapped out. I want to be a big time share buyer here at 230. That's where I'm looking to buy shares down here. So you could sell some 230 puts if you guys are interested. You can sell the 230 puts. You can do cash secured puts if you want to buy the stock. It's pretty interesting. But I mean, you'd probably be losing money as it moves lower because you're selling those puts. So maybe you don't want to do that. But yeah, Nvidia downside looks pretty damn interesting here. I would definitely watch that today. If you start to reject intraday, I'll go to the 1 minute chart, sort of show you Nvidia. So I mean, Nvidia put yesterday was like just easy money, right? Look at this. I mean, every single time it sort of did a dead cat bounce or hit into previous resistance, it just continued to reject. So you had previous support, rejection. You have, you just keep rejecting these lows. Here's another low, low rejection. Here's another one where it just dipped under these lows. So if you guys were looking for downside, if you're looking for something that's sort of sliding all day, just continue to look for those lower highs, lower lows. Or what you can do is you can invert the chart. If you guys are better at looking at upside, you can invert the chart and you can sort of play this thing as it just. This is Nvidia inverted. That's why. Oh wow, look at this. Nvidia inverted's really going right now. But that is not the actual Nvidia chart. This is the actual Nvidia chart. So you can see this thing's getting pretty weak here. All right, so that's Nvidia. I'm definitely watching that for a dip buy, but definitely not right now. I'm looking at that 240 area. Tesla daily. First of all, if you break this 950, I think you're coming back down to this area right around here, right around this let's just call it 900. That's where I think you come back down to relatively quickly. If you do get a weak market, 900 should probably be a good retest level. It's not really doing what I expected. I was thinking Tesla could hold this 1,000, but yesterday, sort of killed my hypothesis around that $1,000 hold. Thought it would try to hold there. It did try to hold it yesterday. The day prior. Yesterday was just very ugly. Really big move lower. Congratulations anyone that played downside. What we can see this morning, which is already occurring, you can see we are already rejecting yesterday's lows here in the pre-market. So right around this area, near these yesterday's lows, pre-market rejection, you can see really bad rejection there. If you break below this 940 today, I would definitely be looking to see how this performs if it breaks under that 940. So watch that 940. That's where we found support in the pre-market. See if that cracks. If that cracks, we'll go to the volume profile here, guys, and you're probably not going to see much also between this 900 and 1000. Why not? We'll take a second and we'll do that. Volume profile. So you can see there's a nice little gap there, right? Look at that. So a nice little gap in volume between this, right in this area, right between 1,000 and 900. You got that big gap in volume. Not going to be much support in this area. So if we start to move down, then I would watch for that 900 level. So watch out for that. That looks like there is not much support below if you break below that level, below 940 today. So that's Tesla. All right, let's go quick over these three, and then I'll get into some of the stuff you guys want to look at. First of all was CRM. Talked to you guys about this one, I think yesterday. See what it did previously off this 270. You can see right here, nasty 270 rejection. And what is it doing right now? It is rejecting very hard. So, wow, it's down to 260 in the pre-market. Damn. So yeah, guys, look at this. Look at this rejection. This could be another play, potentially. Rejection, move lower, and then maybe a rejection and a move lower into this 250. That's what I'd watch on CRM. You can see it's starting to reject there. Starbucks, right here around this 117, another rejection point that I'm watching. You can see right here. Look at this rejection point right at 117. It's been rejected here multiple times. So watch that today, guys. Watch out for 117 and then support down at the 110 area. So you can see Starbucks has been trading in a channel of its own here for about, wow, that's almost 8 months. Almost 8 months, Starbucks. All right, that's what I have for you guys. If you guys could, press that like button for me. I'm about to go through some more names here from the members. If you guys want to stick around and look at Netflix, Upstart, and LMT, then we will look at those. If we have any time after those, I'll take a few recommendations from the chat if I like them. If they're not penny stocks, and if they actually look like a decent chart, then we'll look at those. But if you guys could, please press that like button for me. That helps me grow these streams. It helps me continue to grow, even through the tough times. I know the market has been definitely not encouraging to a lot, and it's interesting. You see lower views when the market is when the market's tough, because I think a lot of people just get frustrated. But we have to fight through it, guys. We have to fight through it. I know the market's been a little bit difficult, but we got to fight through it. So Netflix is one that I would be very careful of, guys. Netflix, this type of environment's not great for Netflix. This is a pretty high growth name. It's not anything that's rock solid, and it's definitely one that is susceptible to sort of that one. I'm up. Think about it, guys. People. Hedge funds, they say, hey, I'm up 100% on some Netflix shares, or I'm up 30% on Netflix this year. Maybe this is one I trim a little bit because of the big run it's had, right? If people are loading into Netflix down in the 5s, they got to push into the 7s, the 6s. This is one where they probably like, hey, let me go ahead and trim Netflix a little here. So that's something that I'd be aware of, right? You want to be aware of those names that can be trimmed, that have been on some big moves. This is one that I think sort of fits that type of play. Netflix is one that I think people will trim. They're up probably a nice amount on it. So just be aware of that. Market is not that kind to this name, in my opinion. You can see we're trying to hold the 100 SMA here. We did not hold this 610, 615 level that I was hoping to see hold. We did not, but we were trying to hold that 100 SMA on the daily chart. So keep an eye on that 100 SMA on the daily. That's what I'd be looking for, right in this area. See if that holds, and if it does not, then I think you're probably going to see this 570 retest back down to here around 570. Upstart. Another one that did not hold its trend line. I was definitely looking at this thing for a potential play. I took something very small. I think I had about $100 in it. I lost on that. I did not want to scale into this one because Upstart was just in a falling knife, and I don't like to take big positions that are in falling knives. Sometimes I take little tests to see if I can try to take a starter, add to it if it starts to work out, but I never added to this one. It just did not work out. We got to push higher, but a very quick rejection, a nasty rejection off previous lows. I'll actually show you why what spooked me out of this play. I'll show you in a second. But yeah, Upstart's below this uptrend. I would not trust the uptrend anymore. Maybe you have that. So this uptrend's gone. Maybe you have this previous high as support around 147. But I'll show you what spooked me here and why I did not play this. If I go to the, where is it at? Is it on the 4 hour? Yes. I can probably get it on the hourly. Let me zoom out here. I can get this on, okay, here we go. This is what spooked me on Upstart. So if I zoom in here, what you guys will see is when we pushed higher over last week, we got a really, really nasty rejection right here. Previous lows turning into resistance. That is not something that you want to see if you're looking for an upside play. So you can see this is just previous support into resistance. When I saw that, that was a no go for me. LMT finally. Let me see, Lockheed Martin. So Lockheed and Boeing just been very tough. Lockheed had a big earnings gap down. Maybe you try to play the gap, but I mean, this level looks tough here. 347, 350. Watch that on Lockheed. Maybe, you have this earnings gap that you could maybe play, but, I think you need to see this breakout first. I would be careful. This could be a very, very nasty rejection area here at 350. All right, that's going to be it, guys. It's 8. You know what? I'm going to do one last because I like Microsoft. I've been watching it, but I don't really like it anymore with this market. But Microsoft is another one that I have been definitely keeping an eye out for. I would probably watch Microsoft at this 320 level. Keep an eye to see if it holds that. That would be very important here at 320. It did break below these 336 levels here in the morning. So keep an eye on that 320 on Microsoft. That would be maybe a nice potential area to pick it up, but that's going to obviously depend on how this market reacts, guys, tomorrow. All right. I hope you guys have a great trading day. I would, again, play it safe. You don't need to become a millionaire today. Wait for some better opportunities, in my opinion. There is definitely better days to come. That's a given. It's a proven fact. There will be better days to trade. Who will get through this time? Who will not blow up their account? Who will be here with buying power, ready to strike when this market maybe heats up, or at least shows us a direction? At least shows us a very strong direction. When that comes, who's going to still be around? Are you going to be the person that loses their money in the chop because they're over trading, because they're trading in difficult times? Or do you just want to wait it out, save up some capital, maybe, add some money into your portfolio, maybe put in a few $100s a week while you wait, so that when this market heats up, you're here, you're ready to go, you have that buying power ready to go, fresh, the bullets are dry, they're ready to fire. So a lot of people have a very hard time thinking about the market like that. A lot of people want to come into this market every single day, and they feel an obligation to trade. I try my best to stay away from that because there's been so many times in the past where I just say to myself, if I just would have not taken anything that day and just would have waited maybe a few more days, I could have just grabbed this extremely easy play. Like when NVIDIA was going straight up. Easy. It was simple. It was just up every day. There was no thinking, right? That's easy money. And if you just sort of minimize those little chunk losses that you may take from trading in chop, if you just take those big moves like that we saw in NVIDIA, you can do a lot better. So try to resist that urge. I know it's difficult, but I think it is best for people that are trying to protect capital. Resist those urges to trade in this choppy market. Wait for a good, strong move, something that is a little bit easier, that's a little bit more consistent. That's my advice for you guys today. Take it for what for what it is. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but I think that is a good, honest advice. Thank you guys for being here. Press that like button if you want to stay tuned for more. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you're not subscribed, help me out. We're almost at 38,000 subscribers. Help me get to that level. Would love to get to I think 50,000 would be just incredible. So hopefully we get there one day. Thank you guys for the support. If you want to join the Discord chat where we trade every day, we talk about the market, we continue to collaborate all day, even all night. I mean, all through the night people are in there. The link down below, guys. What else? Shout out to MSI. Keep an eye out for our giveaway that is coming soon. And have a great day, guys. I will see you in tomorrow's live stream. Peace out.